Welcome to the Salesbeat Podcast, where we explore sales intelligence in fast-moving consumer goods and how you can deliver against your sales goals. I am Veena Giridhar, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Salesbeat, an AI-driven platform eliminating lost sales in fast-moving consumer goods sector due to understocking and overstocking. On today's podcast, we talk about the difference between sales forecasting and demand forecasting. Despite the fact that forecasting is the backbone of most retail and fast-moving consumer goods companies, there is still a lot of confusion about the difference between the two. All retailers and FMCG companies use some sort of forecast to anticipate the future. And the reason is simple. Without having an idea of how many items you will sell tomorrow, building a successful and lasting retail business is impossible. You'll end up buying too much of the wrong stock and not enough of the right ones, which can be frustrating for consumers and loses you massive sales and market share. This is why retailers are becoming more and more data obsessed, especially in regards to forecasting. A good forecast is the difference between a thriving store and bankruptcy. So, what is the difference between sales forecasts and demand forecasts? Sales forecast is an approach that retailers use to anticipate future sales by analyzing past sales, adjusting for seasonality, identifying trends, and projecting this data into the future. A major downside of using a sales forecast is that it forces you to repeat the same mistakes over and over again. For example, if you sold less volumes last year because you or your customer ran out of stock, a sales forecast will suggest the same inventory level adjusted for your sales target increase, causing you or your customer to experience stockouts in the current year as well. Conversely, you or your customer may end up holding too much stock as well. Demand forecasts predict consumer demand for products. Simply put, demand is the willingness of consumers or customers or shoppers to buy a product at a specific price point. So if you know what the demand for a product is at a specific price point and location, you will know exactly how many units to stock on shelf and at your local warehouse to maximize sales and minimize costs. Demand forecasts for the fast-moving consumer goods industry is the subject of a whole new episode of this podcast and will be addressed at a later date. If you have any questions or comments about demand forecasting or sales forecasting, leave a comment here if you're watching on YouTube, and we'll address them in a future episode. If you are listening to this on Apple or Spotify, email me on veena@salesbeat.co with any questions.